Achaemenid, seizing power amid discontent, declared himself king of the Achaemenid Empire. Trusting no one, he summoned Ochus, later Darius II, from Egypt. Dissatisfied Iranians rebelled, crowning Darius as their king. His influential wife, Parysatis, may have contributed to the Achaemenids' downfall. Darius and his commander, Tissaphernes, strategically fueled unrest among Spartans and Athenians to weaken Greece. Meanwhile, Cyrus the Younger supported the Spartans, leading to their victory over Athens after 27 years. Darius II's reign ended in 404 BCE, and his tomb lies at Nakhchi-Rostam in Fars province. Artaxerxes I, known as Artaxerxes Longimanus, was a prominent military leader in ancient times. When Artaxerxes died, his son Xerxes II succeeded him. However, Xerxes reigned for only 45 days because he was killed by a man named Sogdianus. The killer was not a stranger. Sogdianus was the half-brother of Xerxes II. Sogdianus eliminated his rival and illegally, amid great discontent, crowned himself as king of the Achaemenid Empire. This move marked the beginning of tensions and conflicts that inflicted heavy internal damage on the Achaemenid rule. When Sogdianus became king, many of the courtiers and close associates were displeased with him. Moreover, instead of improving the situation, Sogdianus made a move early in his reign that made matters worse. He murdered one of the court's servants, who was among the most loyal and closest individuals to his father, because he believed that this person, after the death of his father, intended to support his brother and might cause trouble for him in the future. At that time, the governor of the satrapy of Egypt was a man named Ochus, another brother of Sogdianus. Sogdianus became suspicious of him and intended to teach him a lesson. The Achaemenid king devised a plan and summoned Ochus to come to Susa as soon as possible. However, Ochus realized Sogdianus's plot. After all, Sogdianus was no longer known for his good reputation, and whoever he summoned often faced dire consequences. Ochus didn't want to go to the capital alone. Therefore, he organized his military forces and set off toward the capital with the Egyptian troops. The idea was that if conflict arose, he would be able to defend himself. Though, in reality, there was no need for a military campaign to overthrow Sogdianus, as he had angered the people so much that they, along with the military forces, revolted against him, forcing the king to flee rather than stay. When Ochus arrived at the capital, at the request of those around him, he was crowned king, which somewhat improved the situation. Later, through various tricks and deceit, they managed to lure Sogdianus back to Iran. Sogdianus, who had committed many crimes, was convicted and then executed. This tyrannical king ruled Iran for only 7 months. After becoming the king, Ochus changed his name to Darius, becoming known in Iranian history as Darius II of the Achaemenids. Darius II, or Ochus, had a wife named Parysatis, or Parysatis. Parysatis was a very influential, powerful, and ruthless woman. She played a significant role in Darius II's decision-making. According to many historians, this queen was one of the factors contributing to the fall of the Achaemenid Empire. Not long into the reign of Darius II, internal and external rebellions began again. The Greeks also took advantage of these internal conflicts in Iran. They directly and indirectly supported the rebels, sometimes with financial aid, sometimes with military support. Darius II managed to suppress all the internal revolts, and all the rebels were arrested. However, because Queen Parysatis had a strong influence on her husband, she asked Darius II to have all the rebels beheaded. That is exactly what happened. All these individuals were killed in prison. There was a period of calm, but then a rebellion broke out in the satrapy of Lydia, which is modern-day Turkey. This uprising lasted for years and was a complicated affair. Early on, Darius II sent one of his generals, Tissaphernes, to Lydia to restore order. The leader of the rebellion was none other than the governor of Lydia himself. They declared Lydia independent from the Achaemenid rule. This rebellion was suppressed by Tissaphernes, and Lydia was once again annexed to the Achaemenid Empire. The governor of Lydia was also killed at the instigation of Queen Parysatis. After these conflicts ended, Lydia remained peaceful for a few years. However, this calm did not last long, and after some time, the associates and son of the governor decided to take revenge on the Achaemenids. The Greeks again supported the rebels in these internal conflicts. Although this rebellion was eventually suppressed by the Achaemenid forces, many lives were lost during the Lydian Wars. One of the worst uprisings occurred shortly thereafter in Egypt. This rebellion quickly spread across all of Egypt, and Egypt officially declared itself independent from the Achaemenid Empire. The Egyptians were so emboldened by their actions that they expelled all Achaemenid forces from Egypt and even planned to attack Phoenicia. When Darius II realized that the situation in Egypt had spiraled out of control, he dispatched the Persian navy to that region. Ultimately, Egypt completely separated from the Achaemenid Empire in 404 BCE. However, after a brief period, during the reign of Artaxerxes III, this territory was re-annexed into the Achaemenid realm. Egypt was first conquered by Cambyses II. Darius II employed an extraordinary policy regarding the Greeks. At that time, Greece was not yet a unified country, and there were many wars between the Athenians and the Spartans, known as the Peloponnesian Wars, or the Greek Civil Wars. To keep Greece weak, Darius II would support the weaker side whenever internal conflicts arose among the Greeks. He preferred these wars to be prolonged, with the key benefit for the Achaemenids being that internal wars weakened Greece to the point where it could no longer pose a threat to the Achaemenid Empire. Tissaphernes, who had suppressed the rebellions in Lydia, became the governor of Lydia himself. Tissaphernes was an unusual yet intelligent and strategic person. He often made very prudent decisions. For example, he had established a relationship with one of the prominent Greek political figures, Alcibiades. Alcibiades had considerable influence in Greek politics and was, on the other hand, a disciple of the great philosopher Socrates. During this period, Tissaphernes had grown quite close to the Spartans, who intended to conquer all of Athens with Tissaphernes' assistance. However, this was certainly not Alcibiades' desire, as he was from Athens and considered an enemy of the Spartans. Thus, Alcibiades revealed many of the Spartans' behind-the-scenes plans to Tissaphernes. He prevented the Spartans from gaining strength with Persian support, which helped maintain a weakened Greece, preserving the balance of power in favor of Persia. Alcibiades aimed to oust the Spartans with the help of Persia and then return to Athens, potentially gaining control over the city. Tissaphernes, however, wanted both Greek factions to remain close to Persia. To keep the Spartans aligned with Persia, Tissaphernes paid them a daily ration, which likely consisted of Achaemenid coins. After a while, Tissaphernes decided to put some pressure on the Spartans and reduced their rations. He halved the Spartans' supply, leading to financial difficulties and hunger among the Spartan soldiers. Eventually, following orders from Tissaphernes, the Spartans' rations were entirely cut off, causing economic conditions to spiral out of control. When the Spartan forces saw the situation deteriorating, they clashed with their leaders. They were severely hungry and in need of money, while the Spartan treasury was empty, relying solely on the promises made by Tissaphernes. Tissaphernes, meanwhile, to keep the unrest in Greece alive, told the Spartan officials that he was sorting out the accounts and that the soldiers' rations would soon be paid, so there was nothing to worry about. Sometimes he would release financial aid, while other times he would suddenly cut it off. This inconsistency eroded the remarkable unity among the Spartans. During this period, a new figure emerged in Achaemenid politics, Cyrus the Younger, the youngest son of Darius II. Cyrus was appointed as the commander of Asia Minor, a region close to the area of conflict. Around this time, the Greeks also intended to send a group of envoys to Susa to negotiate with Darius II. However, when they reached Asia Minor, Cyrus stopped them and told them that he had full authority over the area, advising them to speak to him instead of traveling all the way to Iran. He also assured them that he would support the Spartans more than anyone else. To demonstrate his goodwill towards the Spartans, Cyrus did not allow the Athenian envoys to return to Athens and even seized several Athenian ships. With Cyrus the Younger entering Asia Minor, Persia's policy toward Greece entered a new phase. Unlike Tissaphernes, Cyrus was not interested in political games or constantly shuffling Greek forces. He straightforwardly declared his policy to the Greeks: full support for the Spartans and the complete destruction of the Athenians. From the beginning, Cyrus announced that Spartan rations and entitlements would be fully restored without any cuts. The Spartans regained their strength and prepared to attack Athens. During this time, Alcibiades managed to take control of the Athenian government and formed a nationalist front in Athens. Alcibiades and the Athenian nationalists were ready to fight against the Spartans and their allies, the Persians. This policy of complete support for the Spartans was purely Cyrus's approach and had no direct connection to the Achaemenid court. Even the Achaemenid nobility opposed the approach that Cyrus was implementing. Tissaphernes disagreed with Cyrus's policies. He sent a message to Cyrus asking him not to take sides in the Greek civil war. When the message reached Cyrus, he angrily rejected this suggestion and stuck to his stance. After a while, Alcibiades was once again expelled from Athens. During his exile, he could not find a safe place for himself, and after some time, he was killed, bringing his story to an end without achieving his goals. The first clashes between the Spartans and the Athenians began at sea with naval battles. These maritime battles were intense and bloody, and although the Athenians had the upper hand in naval combat, the overwhelming support from Cyrus to the Spartans led to the unexpected outcome where the Spartans destroyed the Athenian ships. Cyrus was elated to hear about Sparta's victory, but news from Susa arrived, summoning him back, with his father Darius II calling for him. Cyrus was the youngest son of Darius II, so he was not in line for the throne. This summons made him wonder about its purpose. He was told that Darius II, now old and sick, wanted to say goodbye to him one last time. Reluctantly, Cyrus agreed and returned from Asia Minor to Susa. However, the reality of the matter was not just to bid farewell to Darius II. As mentioned, Cyrus's policies differed significantly from Tissaphernes's. These actions were not to Darius II's liking either, therefore, Cyrus was summoned to explain his policies. In the matter of summoning Cyrus, Queen Parysatis had a significant influence over her husband. Before leaving the region, Cyrus entrusted the continuation of his mission to one of his companions, telling him, "All the treasury available here is at your disposal. Continue this war until victory, and if you run out of financial resources, sell my personal belongings to provide for the Spartan forces to ensure they have no trouble in battle." Shortly after Cyrus left Asia Minor, a battle known as the Battle of Aegas Potami took place. In this battle, the Athenians suffered a severe defeat, and out of 180 of their ships, only 12 managed to escape. Most of the experienced Athenian commanders fell into the hands of the Spartans, and those who survived could not return to Athens. During this battle, large portions of Greek territory slipped out of Athenian control and fell into the hands of the Spartans. Sparta's advance was so successful that they completely besieged Athens, both by land and by sea. At first, the Athenians had no intention of surrendering. They sent a message stating that they would remain in the city until their last breath and would not surrender the city. However, the siege was prolonged, and every day, many Athenian citizens were dying of starvation in the city's streets. According to historians, the stench of decaying corpses permeated the entire city. The leaders of Athens, realizing they had no choice but to surrender to Sparta's demands, sent a message to the Spartan forces that they would no longer resist and that the city would soon be in Spartan hands. The Spartan commanders triumphantly entered the city. They set the armories on fire, destroyed the warships, and even demolished the walls that had protected Athens. This marked the end of the Peloponnesian Wars after 27 years, with the defeat of Athens and the victory of the Spartans. There are no precise records of the amount of money Persia gave to the Spartans. However, Xenophon, in his writings, mentioned Cyrus as the main financial supporter in these wars, indicating that the sum given by Persia to Sparta was substantial. During these wars, not a single Persian soldier was among the Spartans. Most likely, Persia only provided military advisors and financial support to Sparta without heavily intervening in their war strategies. The victory of the Spartans was also highly beneficial for Persia because the Athenians intended to unite all the western territories under their control and establish a naval empire. The Persian king, Darius II, died in 404 BC after a 20-year reign. After his death, Parysatis, the first lady of the Persian court, remained as powerful and influential as before and installed her son Artaxerxes II as the next king. The tomb of Darius II is located at Nakhchivan, near Mavdasht in the Fars province. Darius II was the last Achaemenid king to be buried at Nakhchivan.
If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like it, and share it with your friends. Do not hesitate to provide your view regarding this video by putting your comments below. Your comments would help us to improve our work, and also, they help us to take your views into account for the future topics that we select. Furthermore, you can subscribe to our channel to become aware of our new videos.